Inspiring story, thrill seeker pushes limits without legs.
Is
Fox
that
News
man
video, Windows
and has
Internet
achieved
Explorer
so much
window,
and overcome
focus
so many
on.
extraordinary challenges. And he's here now to talk about his new Travel Channel show, which is on Tuesday on the Travel Channel, 10 p.m. Eastern. And Kevin, I get the feeling you're about to look at me and say, dude, I haven't done anything special.
Ah, why did you do that? I was going to say that, like, man, when you put it all on a list, Jonathan, it makes me sound like a really busy person.
Yeah, you are not only busy, but you are clearly, obviously, very talented and extraordinarily determined.
I would phrase it a little differently.
Do go on.
Respectfully. Which would be, I really am a naturally curious person. I love discovering new things, and I habitually overcommit myself. The clips of me that you'll see of jumping off the cliff as well as climbing a massive tree, both those times I was thinking, like, wow, you really do kind of will say anything without really thinking it through.
Well, we're just looking at these. You know, you wouldn't get me doing that in a million years. It's extraordinary. And the thing is, Kevin, I know you do not think of yourself in any way as different, and you don't like the term disabled, but you don't have legs. People don't understand how you can be such a thrill seeker, sort of take on all these challenges, born as you were. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing and what put that sort of mentality in your mind.
Absolutely. So one of the, I don't know how many people will get the cultural reference, but one of the major TV shows growing up was MacGyver for us.
Right.
And really the ethos behind that show is adapt to whatever your surroundings dictate using what you have at hand. Which really, when it comes to my show, Armed and Ready, that's what we're doing every episode. You take an activity you don't think a legless guy could do, and then you make him do it. And along the way, or to facilitate that, we build a series of adaptive rigs, as you saw with me climbing the tree, to allow me to overcome whatever challenges I may have. And actually, to answer your disability question, too, whether or not I kind of like it or not, I think the word disability is kind of an interesting concept because it says you're either or. You're either disabled or you're not. And the way I kind of look at myself and really a lot of the stuff I'm doing on this show is your relative ability to carry out a given task at a given point in time. So if I'm climbing a staircase in New York trying to climb out of a subway, I'm moving a little bit slower. I understand that I'm disabled in that context. But when I jump on my skateboard and I'm going at twice the speed of everyone else for half the energy, it's a little bit harder to reconcile that.
Well, so tell us a little bit about the show. How long have you been filming this, and where did the idea come from in the first place, Kevin?
Well, Travel Channel contacted me after my book was released, and they saw an article in Outside Magazine and kind of quickly brought me on to develop a show. I was a film student at the time, so it was something that I'd always kind of wanted to do in some capacity. And with the amount of traveling I'd been doing for my photography as well as my participation in the X Games, being a crazy risk taker was kind of something I was doing anyway. And so kudos to Travel Channel because they really spent a lot of time with me working on what the tone of the show was going to be, which is, you go out there and you take on your challenges without any real sentimentality about it. You have like the 27-year-old bachelor angle kind of.
Right. It's an extraordinary show, and I think will be a huge inspiration to so many people. But when you first started doing kind of crazy things, growing up in Montana, I believe, what on earth did your parents say?
Dude, my parents were encouraging it.
Good for them.
Now my mom watches Armed and Ready, and she gives me angry phone calls. She's like, what were you thinking? And it's like, really, you brought this on yourself. Like, you have no one else to blame.
So they must be extraordinarily proud of you.
They are. When I started traveling abroad, I was actually the first person in my family to even have a passport. So when I was shooting my photo series, I would call one day and it's like, hey, Ma, just got to Tokyo. And then they wouldn't hear from me for 6 months. And then a phone call would be like, hey, I'm in Sarajevo. And my parents at this point, between the X Games and all of that craziness and then Armed and Ready, they just kind of have this blind support where it's like, okay, whatever you think, we love you.
Well, it really, your story is extraordinary, Kevin. whether you think you're just an ordinary guy doing some crazy things, that's up to you. In my eyes, and as my producer just said in my ear, this is absolutely amazing. And the show is obviously going to be amazing. I recommend everybody watch it on the Travel Channel Tuesday evening, 10 p.m. Eastern. Kevin Michael Connolly, a real honor to talk to you, sir. Thanks so much for being here.